We are here again, Culture X Commerce, where everything intersects from fashion to music, and so forth and so on. Again, I'm Lionell. Have my good friend Anuroop, business partner for almost a decade now. Man, time flies. All right, then we have our fine guest with us this morning, Brian Hill. Yes, the executive director, I must say, and founder of Phoenix Fashion Week. And I know I wouldn't do it justice, so we're just going to allow Brian to introduce himself, tell you what he do, what he's up to, and also about the main event soon to arrive.
Thank you for having me. Lionell, Anuroop, appreciate you. I'm Brian Hill. I'm the director of Phoenix Fashion Week. Phoenix Fashion Week is all about bridging designers and buyers from three pillars of fashion, education, and community. Community is culture. Culture is community, the way we see it. We focus on emerging fashion brands, models, designers, stylists, anyone that's here trying to go there. That's what we're about. The business of fashion.
That's wonderful. So, we love talking about business. Obviously, we named the podcast Commerce. We put that in there for a reason. And so, let's talk. We want to start off with something a little bit light but interesting. I always like this question about a playlist. Yeah. Because when we think about fashion and music, right, it intertwines. Yes. And so, if Phoenix Fashion Week had a playlist, what would be the top 3 songs on that playlist?
Right. Well, first of all, for sure, Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Lose Yourself.
You got one shot.
That's right.
One opportunity, right? You think sometimes that the opportunity is different, but it's the one opportunity that your brain says, I should keep doing this one thing your entire career. For me, it's working in fashion. That's my one opportunity. I'm not going to go into trash after fashion and then into pool cleaning. I'm in fashion. That's my one opportunity. So Lose Yourself, Eminem for sure. Probably got to go Jay-Z. Let me reintroduce myself. I talk about rewiring. So again, it's 2025. Let me reintroduce myself to the fashion community globally as well as locally. And 3, probably, let's go with Jay-Z again. To me, what he did from 0 to what he is now is about the struggle, but also trying to define himself as a brand. And I go back to that, right? Tom Ford.
Love it. That's powerful. Jay-Z on the list twice. All right, then. So I want to come back to that point you made about international design, the global stage, but then also locally.
Yeah.
And, tying in these international designers and bringing them to the region, and then the visibility that gives to locale.
Right.
And I think that's always been a big part of what you do and having that exposure and visibility. So can you talk a little bit about that global stage, but on a local level?
Right. So I think it's never global or national. It is emerging fashion brands. We all speak the same language. Bangladesh, Austin, Texas, St. Louis, Missouri, Detroit, Michigan. They're all struggling with identifying their ideal fashion customer, running a sustainable brand that's consistently growing, right? Never doing a machine gun approach to who you're trying to go after, but a focused approach in your ideal fashion customer. It's the same language. I was so surprised when I talked to someone in the Philippines. They said, I'm struggling with the exact same things. They just said it in their own language.
That's right.
But really, the language of emerging fashion designers is the same. They're struggling to figure out who they are and who are they for. So we focus on that a lot. That's why Bangladesh designer came, someone from Philippines, Dubai. They all came here because they wanted to build a better brand. That's it.
Look at that. That's so powerful. And when you think I like the way you flipped it. You flipped the script. We talk about global stage because it's what I would call imaginary borders.
Yes.
As it were. And so you really bringing it home. Like, no, we all got the same pain point at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you're trying to move product. You're trying to build something unique that people can monetize and put a true value to. You're not trying to give your craft away, and you're trying to build a team that's also within your own culture, in your own community. So your brand is X. Everybody in the team X is you in the beginning, but you got to have the many interns at X also behind what you're doing, right? And that brand, call it brand X, can only grow by everybody being on the same page. We're not making everything for everybody. I want to make stuff for men, women, kids, dogs, pets, and also car wraps.
Okay.
Can't do that.
Right.
You have to first get the only kind of pet that loves what you're making, right? The Cocker Spaniel that has the perfect wrap of what you made, then get a bunch of Cocker Spaniels.
You can't spread yourself too thin.
Right. You can't do everything for everybody. And we're 3 different people right here. And he's rocking polo. I'm Tom Ford. You're rocking all your custom stuff always. So one designer, even the camera people, if he's doing something, he's not going to dress all 3 of us.
That's right.
One of us is going to like what he's doing. And then Anuroop's going to get behind it. And then we'll say, I want to wear what Anuroop's wearing that the camera guy designed. We can't wear it yet because it's not for us yet.
That's right.
But eventually he's going to go to lane 2. And then it might be for someone like me and then like you. That's how you actually expand. If you go back to any brand that's successful globally, that's what they did. You just don't see them early. You think Balenciaga was for everybody back then. It was for one kind of person in the beginning. Now people strive to buy Balenciaga, but in the beginning, they went after one kind of person, right? And all those historical brands the same way. It wasn't for everybody in the beginning. People just aspire to go to that now.
Are you listening? Are you eating? Because he's cooking. All right. We're talking about the audience, that one specific person. Who is it for? Knowing your audience, as it were. So when you talk about that, I want Anuroop to chime in too, but you're making it for this person, right? So when someone is wearing a certain brand, there's a reason for that, right? So what does that tell you? What does wearing a certain brand tell you about that person? You see that person wearing X.
Right. Well, I think throughout history, historic history, before AD, BC, everything, it's always been about class, right? And classification and status. And when you talk about people wearing things, they're making an announcement as to who they are and what they're about based on that brand. And more times than not, when it comes to luxury brands, you're trying to make a statement. Some people say they're trying to flex, but really you want people to know that I can afford this. I run like this circle. I am a Balenciaga kind of person. And that's what you want because you're trying to also get into different circles and fit into different circles by what you're wearing.
Community.
Right. Community. Exactly.
I mean, you got the Black American Express card or you in the lounge at the airport. It's a reason. Right. You want to know, I'm in this circle.
Right. It's funny how your debit card never lays on the table, but when your black card, you go slowly and put it out on the table. But if it's a debit card, you're like, here, pay it back.
You got that gold card.
Correct. You want everybody to see it.
You ever seen that meme where it says that once guys get a MacBook, all of a sudden they have to be outside, work at the cafes? Because
Correct.
You don't do what the Dells, they do what the MacBooks.
Yeah. How many people, when you have a good bank account, have you left the receipt in the ATM because you want the next person to see what you have?
Or you got that.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. When you go to the bank, maybe a bank you haven't been to, and I want to pull out. I need get 100,000. I ain't looking. You got a big smile on your face.
Right.
you got pulling out 6 figures.
Right.
Man, what this guy do?
It's status.
Status. Yeah.
The new bank, Lionell wants everyone in the new bank to know what he can do, what he can afford. And that is just a little bit different. Suddenly he has bottled water waiting for him when he does the deposits and the withdrawals.
Wait a minute. Now, I just went to the store. I might say the store name. I might. But I just went to a store and I went in, they didn't bring me no water or any of those things.
Right.
This other guy walks in. You can tell by people's vibes and how they move.
Yep.
I'm looking at him the way he's moving and and then they called his name. Hey, so-and-so.
Right.
And he looking around. I've been sitting in here, next thing you know, they come from the back with some champagne.
Right.
And they say, here, we got some champagne. I'm like, now, wait a minute, I ain't even getting no water.
Right.
And then, shortly after, he left. I actually bought something. But so anyway, obviously, he was somebody who was a regular who obviously had spent a big bag. Right. They know him, they bringing him champagne, and here I am. I ain't even get a glass of water.
Right. Yeah. That gentleman was their ideal fashion customer.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it was. And until you fit into that mold, whatever the ideal fashion customer is, it's like an invisible fence, And like you said, you saw his aura, how he moved, and things like that. But that invisible fence is real. And when you put on a luxury brand, you want that invisible fence to also speak for you.
I love that. You know what? We're gonna tell y'all about that. I'm gonna give the name. I'm gonna drop the name, but it's gonna be in the behind the scenes content, so you're gonna have to subscribe to get that. We're gonna call the name out. But Anuroop.
Yeah, no. So to his point, it's gonna be in the exclusive content. So next time when you go to that store, you know to ask for your champagne. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, I want to address that fact you mentioned about the creating for one specific customer,
Sure.
right? In marketing, we call that the riches or in the niches, right? You find that specific niche, you go ahead and create for it. And you talk about the authenticity is where that's when the brand finds its community, finds its culture or subculture, as many call it, created around it. And so, but you also mentioned things around the challenges faced by a fashion brand, whether they're from Bangladesh, whether they're from Thailand, whether they're from the Philippines.
Yes.
They're from Arizona, from New York. It's common. What are those common challenges you've seen for fashion entrepreneurs as they emerge?
Right. The first one is not knowing who you are designing for, right? We even have a formula now. It's really easy. It's 3-step. Anyone can apply it, right? What are you doing from an action standpoint? Are you designing, curating, building, producing, whatever the action is, just something action, right? And then what are you making? I'm making shirts, Cocker Spaniel this, t-shirts, whatever it is. And who's it for? The ideal fashion customer, specifically. And so when people say, I'm making this for that kind of person, that's my action, they go, well, Brian, I'm making it for everybody, a 21-year-old and a 29-year-old. I was like, okay, let's just pause for a second. When you were 22, you just graduated from college, right? U of A, and bushy, excited about life, right? A little bit of money, but has a good new job. At 26, he's probably making a transition to a second job, right?
Okay.
A little bit more money. What he bought at 22 is different when he buys at 26.
That's right.
How you talk to someone at 22 is different than you talk to someone at 26. In the beginning, when you have limited time and limited capital, you must talk specifically to the right person first to get every 22-year-old that graduates from U of A to buy whatever you're doing. So then when they transition to 26 and they have a little bit more money, then you go to the next level of price point. That's how you really got to do it. When you have limited time, most people I work with are emerging. I got a day job, Brian. I got to work from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. In that limited time, you got to really focus. You got to be super targeted, sharpshooter with everything. You can't talk to all four of us. But if you get a bunch of Anuroops out of college at 22, and they all can afford the $28 shirt, you're good. And own it. Then those other 22-year-olds will tell them all in UCLA, by the way, 22-year-old UCLA person, buy this brand. That's how it really goes. But you don't realize it, right? Then when you're 29, you're like, I want to feel like a 22-year-old, forever 21, right? Because you then have people aspire to feel like they're 21 again. That's why it's there. When you get people to aspire to your brand when they're not that 21-year-old anymore, when you're 31, you're winning.
You're winning. Okay. That's now you reminded me again of the Jay-Z track, Forever Young, right?
Correct.
I'm going back to that. Okay.
Correct.
And I want to touch on that point because you mentioned that aspect, right, of creating for that one buyer. I would say if you look at the evolution of most fashion brands, right, and that's why we always talk about that commerce is downstream from culture.
Yeah.
Because this is typically how you see these evolutions, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert with those. But for example, let's say there's a brand starts creating clothing, starts creating apparel for a particular community, right?
Yes.
Let's say it's skaters.
Yes.
Right? Let's say if it was some sort of, just like about the skate culture, this is about all the skaters who love it. Now, all of a sudden, from the skater community, there's an artist that pops, right? Because that's what they relate to. Their music or their art is more so in tune with or resonant with the skater community.
Yes.
As such, they wear the brand, right? And now the artists, just because of the aura that they create and so forth, people then follow them because they want to aspire to be that artist.
Correct.
Now, all of a sudden, this brand that used to be a skater brand is now a mainstream brand.
Yeah.
Because the artist made it cool. But what happens with that? It follows that culture aspect. Community, culture, leads to then commerce.
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, he said mainstream. He said the bad word mainstream. Is it a bad word? Right?
It's a bad word.
If you stay authentic, it's not a bad word. If you grow the correct way organically and you are true to the skater market, the culture, etc., and everybody believes that, you can't grow too fast in that situation. If you're trying to grab a bag in the skater community, they will sniff you out in 2 seconds.
Right.
So it takes some time, and then, like you said, then someone bubbles from that, an artist, and then other people start to go with it. Then a popular song does go mainstream, and then suddenly my teammate Emily's wearing it, and then the skater coach is like, she doesn't skate. Why is she rocking that? I can't rock anymore. It's a very tight line. You have to really stay in and stay true to it, because the brand that own the skater culture, if you start to go outside of it and you forget how great it is to be a skater, you will lose them. But there's a way to go mainstream and still be authentic. It's just that people start having champagne dreams and wishes. And the guy that used to be at the skate park making great designs, he's suddenly not at the skate park anymore. He's watching skate from YouTube on his jet in another country. That's not authentic anymore, right?
Right.
So why would he stop doing that? Because like, I really don't want to work hard anymore. I want to live from the fruits of my labor, which is also okay. It depends what the brand really wants to do, the brand owner. You want to stay in the trenches and be true, or do you want to go to Switzerland all the time and forget where you started? It's just up to you. And did you put some cash aside? If you go to Switzerland and the skate culture says no to you going forward, do you have enough? Because you can't go back.
Woo,
Right?
That's a bar.
Yeah.
Once again, we're not going to drop any names in this, but exclusive content. We're going to drop some names.
For real. That's awesome. So let's shift gears just a little bit. Talk about fashion weeks. Paris, New York, Phoenix. Now, when we think about these runways, is it just about the clothes? Or what about those who wear them? Is it also, when we think about Jay-Z again and Beyonce, I know I saw a lot of chatter online about it became an entertainment set, so to speak. But how do you think about those different nuances about maybe what Paris offers, what New York, what Phoenix offers? And is it just about the clothes and design, or is it also about who wears them?
Right. I love it. So when I first joined the Fashion Week team, right, put my time in as a volunteer and start from the ground up. And I did my research. I went to New York Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week. And I just saw in the crowd what they were doing and how they monitored and gravitated and brought people into their community, their culture in New York and LA. Two different things. And Mercedes-Benz sponsored both of them. And in watching that, what I said was, well, we're not going to be LA Fashion Week. We're not going to be New York Fashion Week. What they have between proximity to manufacturing and also top celebrities is different than what we have in Phoenix, middle market area. So I said, what can we do that's different than those two? And back then, no one cared about emerging fashion designers. So I cared about emerging fashion designers, which is what I was, right? Self-taught. And so I said, we could be different and talk to that. And then eventually with Instagram and the world being in social media, then small brands became important. But we were doing it before that. We were saying, you have to do what other people aren't doing. You got to go opposite of that to try to make your own pathway. Yep. And so then when you go back to New York and LA, like I said, they were killing it. They could have someone, Usher could drive down the street, from his home in Beverly Hills and be in Fashion Week in LA. We couldn't have that. So we had to go with the struggle and how to build a brand up. And if you find that, suddenly you have a blossom spot from Phoenix, right? A State 48, a Dolcetta swimwear, a Towering Stone. Suddenly you start seeing that these things can come from Phoenix Fashion Week, and you're like, it can actually happen here, our way, which is for emerging designers, which is that culture, which is that community.
I love it. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Shout out to State 48. That was, I know when I first got introduced to Phoenix Fashion Week, it was during those years and getting to know, what they were about. And I was introduced to them through Phoenix Fashion Week. Seeing these brands on display locally was powerful. And we see all that they've done. So just, shout out to them, all the different partnerships. Let's talk about that. Because what they did and how they went about their marketing, how they went about brand partnerships with different restaurants and breweries or just different things.
Right.
And like you say, understanding your market, understanding your customer, and all of the grit that goes into that. Like, let's talk about the behind the scenes, because, the flash and the image and what everything looks like in front of the camera is is like the trend.
Yeah.
But what's the real work behind the scenes to really make something happen? It's not just a hobby, but it's actually something you can build and that's going to be sustainable.
Right. Well, it's hard work, period. So I think talent is as cheap as table salt. Everybody's got talent. It's literally hard work. I mean, that's it. It's literally hard work. I don't care if you have a good idea. It's not going to work without hard work. It's just not. Lots and lots of hours, lots of disagreements as you figure out who your ideal fashion customer is. Lots of disagreements on what my brand is about, getting everybody on the same table, not growing too fast outside of what your brand is for and who's it for, right? Going back to your ideal fashion customer. And that's really, it's the same thing I said about Bangladesh designer, a Philippine designer, German designer. It's the same thing. You can't get over your skis until you figure out who your brand is for. And you have to give them that every single day.
Right.
Every single day. And it's like your guiding light, your North Star. Once you figure it out, you're like, this is what I'm doing. I'm literally doing this for these people only. And it will then widen to lane 2, we call it, and then lane 3. But you've got to own lane 1 first.
Lane 1 first, folks. Y'all heard it here first. So let's dig a little deeper here, because when we think about like all of that hard work that's required to make it pop, and getting the product right, and the materials, and the undercutting, and all these different things.
Sure.
What we found at the end of the day, the last thing, or really the first thing, but sometimes it's often the last thing that people really figure out: pricing, protecting your margins,
Yep.
the offer.
Yep.
I've been saying a lot these days, make 1 billion offers. Because if 1 million people say yes, you're a billionaire, depending on your price point. Now, how many people is going to say no? If you only get 1 million yeses to 1 billion offers, you're going to hear a lot of no's. So you can't let that discourage you. But you got to make the offer. So how do you get that offer right? Because offer is everything. I mean, if you say, hey, I want to buy those sneakers, I'll give you $500. I'm not selling these for $500. I'll give you 1,000. I don't know, maybe now we're talking. Give me 15. So how do you think about offers?
Yeah, it goes back to knowing your ideal fashion customer. Because if you're talking to him or her or them about what they want, right? And you're inside their head and they think that, man, I can't believe he knows what I want. By knowing your market truly, you can win. So then the offer becomes, what would a skater want that's an up-and-coming skater? And only make that. Is it a shoe that has a different kind of sole because it can take the wear and tear? Then make that for them, right? And so that's what you have to do. The offer's got to be about what that ideal fashion customer will want. And so I was talking to someone yesterday, a custom sneaker maker, and he said his price point was too high. He figured that out after a year. It was too high. And he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lower the price in these times of maybe some reserves on cash, individual customers. I'm going to bring down the price, but I'm also going to bring less to the shoe and make it about minimalist, right, design. And so then he figured out his time of designing the whole shoe was a fraction, and then he could offer the shoe at a new fraction price. And suddenly he had people interested, right?
Look at that.
They weren't interested at the other price, and the whole shoe was covered. Now he covers less of the shoe. He gets to bring the price down. His hours on the shoe are less. Everybody wins, and now suddenly somebody wants to buy it.
Look at that.
That is the thing. But if he's over in Switzerland, not listening to what the market really says, he would look up and go, why are my sales 0? What happened last year? The accountant's like, you weren't selling any shoes at that price. That's what happened. Right. But you were in Switzerland and you didn't know that. But he is in the market every day and he figured it out. I looked at the shoe, I was like, I actually love it with less. Less is actually more. And then now more people can get it. And then maybe you go down the road to lane 2 and you go back to the all cover shoe at the higher price point with just your top tier people.
That's right.
The Balenciaga customers of your shoe line.
There you go.
And he's like, But that took a year.
Right.
That took a year.
So it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but you got to be looking at all of those different things, thinking outside of the box. What can you do different, as you mentioned? How I'm going to differentiate myself in this market and come up with an offer that I always say is irresistible. Where it's a no-brainer. Make it a no-brainer where I don't even got to think about it. I've seen offers where I'm like, I can't get my credit card out fast enough, right? And that's the type of
true.
You keep trying to come across, right? So,
Right.
One of the fundamental rules of economics is that all decisions are made at the margin, right?
Yeah.
In that instance that you just mentioned, I have something where I'm putting a lot of effort in detailing, which is also increasing my cost in the shoe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to offer it at this value.
Yeah.
Right? To Lionell's point, the offers. Now the market is over here. My market's sitting right here.
Right.
And this is the cost they want to pay, but this is the utility that they need. I don't need this to teleport me or turn into, I don't need this made out of silver or gold, right?
Exactly.
I need something that is clean, fits my purposes, right?
Exactly.
So I want to talk about a little bit the value, or actually more importantly, the importance of perception for a fashion brand.
Right. That's good. Perception of fashion brand has got to be consistency. Let's just start there. We keep using the same examples. If you're going to be a skate brand, you got to be consistent. You have to have a great shoe that has take the wear and tear of skate every day, right? The shirt might have some kind of wicking ability because you're going to be sweating, etc. It's got to be loose enough to do all the tricks. All those things need to go into your shirt, right? That perception is super duper important because now people that don't wear your skate brand but see a good skater wearing that brand, I want to become a good skater. I must rock that new shirt, that consistent shirt. That consistency over time is what really matters. So you say offers, put 1 million offers out there. that's also consistency over time. Consistency over time wins. A drip on cement will make a hole in cement over time.
Over time.
Period. A rose can grow through cement over time. Fact. If you want to do it in 2 seconds, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Because you're probably missing the boat anyway, what you're making. You were still talking to the 22-year-old, but now it's a 28-year-old that you're talking wrong to. So most people run out of money and time.
That's
Right?
true.
Because after 1 year, you told your entire family how great my designs are. I've got the donut t-shirt that everyone loves. And then a year later, your cousin's like, how those donut t-shirts going? That pause I just gave you right there at the family barbecue tells everybody perception-wise, you're not going well. Right? He doesn't know that you're talking to the wrong donut lover.
That's right.
But you can't tell your people at the barbecue because your uncle's like, what's going with the donut shirt?
Right.
Keep talking about the donut shirt, but no one's buying the donut shirt because you're trying to talk to the wrong donut customer.
That's right.
The donut customer might be the 16-year-old that is in government at his school, and he wants to buy the donuts and the donut t-shirts to give his staff every other week in the school administration, right? When he figures that out, he's like, oh, I can call other schools that also have their own student government and tell them I've got this donut brand that comes with a donut t-shirt. When you buy the dozen donuts, you get a t-shirt. So whoever in your school government did a good job last month, give him the donut shirt. He's like, oh, I'm into that. How much is that? Because the kid running the school government is like, I don't have any good ideas. I like that idea. They're already eating donuts. Now they get a little donut shirt to go with it.
Right.
Suddenly, the people in the government, this high school government, now the secretary's like, I want the donut t-shirt.
Awful.
Right. And that's, how do I get that? The president's like, get up your game. Now she's better. Now the other person trying to get the donut shirts, also their game's up. Suddenly, the government's going better, and then it pops. Right? And then a lot of people who are in the government at high school, I'm talking about the president, the secretary, et cetera, at a high school, suddenly the football player's like, I want the donut shirt. What's going on with the donut shirt? The quarterback. Now he's rocking a donut shirt.
Uh-oh.
Now that's what happens.
Over time.
Over time.
There you go.
Right. By figuring out who would want the donuts first, it's people eating donuts first that can afford it, need it, it's priced right, whatever it might be, and then you run from that, being consistent. If you forget who cares about your donuts the most at that high school, you will also lose again. Right? Does that make sense?
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, when we talk about if you're going to start a donut shop, you probably want to start with glaze. Right? Like, I don't want to come with all of the new things. Look, what we know works.
Correct. If you're going to go, I love that. You come out, you're like, just got my chef degree. I'm going to come with these donuts. It's going to have like all this stuff, whatever ingredient, salt, pepper, put a tomato on it, wrap it. It looks pretty. And it's $14 for the donut. You're like, I'm not going to buy that donut. I need a really good glazed donut that might save me a few pounds. Can you talk to that a bit?
Right.
If I'm going to eat the donut, what can I get the benefit from it? You always get a t-shirt, and we also donate. Every donut you buy, I give a donut to another school that can't afford it.
There you go.
Okay, I'm into that.
I'm so.
Start a donut brand, like right now.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here first.
Donuts.
Thank you for that donut shirt.
So, Anuroop, so let's move into the now. So, Phoenix Fashion Week, where are you? What's next? Now, I know we have a main event coming up, so let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But let's also talk about the journey up to it, right? So we have mixers, we have the model search, we have all the different things leading up to it. So let's walk through that roadmap and what's coming.
Sure. I'm going to go back a couple years. Let's go back to COVID for a sec.
Oh, I like that. In fact, you know what? That's a good segue because you talked about reinventing.
Yeah.
Or, reintroducing
Yep.
yourself. So we had the pandemic. Things went
South. Fast.
And here you are now. Well, let's start there.
We had to rewire. We talk about rewiring all the time. And to do a rewire means that you do things differently. You rewire the synapses in your brain, right? To do things differently, to get a different outcome. Period. You couldn't do things the same way before. So we had to all shift. And we shifted. We remember what we were about in the beginning was emerging fashion designers. To let everybody go and start over from scratch after the pandemic was very hard. But it told me, did I really want this? And I did. I still believe in emerging fashion designers. I still believe in emerging fashion talent. designers, models, stylists, photographers, everybody needs to run a better fashion brand in reality. And so when I rewired after COVID, that's what I really realized, right? And now we're starting to get our sea legs back, so to speak, you know? And we're offering more things that emerging designer needs, right? More tech, more systems, more automation, all those things that they actually really need. I thought it was about the hard work. It is, but how about the smart work with the hard work?
That's right.
That's a rewire that we've done.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, because AI has emerged and taken over the headlines.
Yeah.
Like we talk about automation and the systems that you need. We have the AI agents now and all these different things. And designers need to be learning about these things, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah. You know, AI is going nowhere. It's only going to get bigger. And so just like learning Microsoft Office and Microsoft Excel at a time in the past, you had to learn these tools to run a better fashion brand. This is a new tool you have to learn to run a better fashion brand. It's literally the same thing. You just don't remember that Microsoft started from scratch one day.
That's right.
And no one knew how to work it.
Absolutely.
Just like no one knows how to work AI. But then people started getting better at it. They're like, oh, you can do a spreadsheet to track your expenses for your fashion brand. Got it. I got to learn that. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to learn different AI tools that are going to help you run a better fashion brand.
Love it.
Yeah.
How have you been teaching designers about AI?
Right. Embracing it with tricking them that were already using it. Right?
'Cause you were.
First.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they found me because AI helped me to put my message out, to put my offer out. So you got to me through AI. And then when they see that parallel, like, okay, got it. Then I'm teaching it, you want to save time, the things you really don't want to do. Let's automate some of those processes, right? The admin work, the note taking, the whatever that you don't want to do that you must actually do on a regular basis to be consistent. Let's show you how to do that for yourself and your brand. And then they listen. They're like, save time? Cool. I work from 6 to 10 p.m. I can do more in that same block of time. Cool. And then once they have an early adoption, some early success on the AI, then they get some confidence. They don't feel foolish, etc. You can build on that. So I'm just laying out really systematic steps on how they can implement it.
Awesome. Love it.
So now that you're in 2025, as we talked about reinvention moving forward, what can people expect? What is in store for people this year, Phoenix Fashion Week 2025?
Man, new experience, new home. Think about this. We come out of COVID and we continue to do what we do and help emerging fashion brands around the valley, around the world. And people are watching. So we talk about, you're afraid to post and do these different things. You got to be perfect. We just kept doing because everyone's watching.
That's right.
Right? And we talked to a bunch of resorts and spas in Arizona. And we said, this is what we've been doing. They go, we already know what you're doing.
We see it.
We already see it. Okay.
Like, I know you see
Yes.
it.
And then we had to craft offers that made sense to resorts of the right size, the right mindset, and the future vision of what we're trying to go for, right?
So you had to get that offer right.
We had to. We had to. So it spoke to them, that invisible fence. And this is something they can look at our Instagram and our website and our malls and say, our resort matches that. Or we want to aspire to get that look. Either way, right? Because that marketing manager is also trying to get more people to come into their spa, into their casino, etc. And that's what we did. And we found an amazing partner. And it's going to be amazing. So October 11th, we're coming back. Again, new home, new experience.
Mark calendars.
We're putting it all into one place. And pretty soon, I think right at this filming, you can actually buy early bird tickets.
Oh, yeah.
To Phoenix Fashion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So click the link below.
100%.
Get your ticket. In fact, and this is how that culture, community, right, commerce hits. Because now that you just said what you said about the spa situation,
right,
got a new partner, right, new home. I'm interested.
Exactly.
Right. I want to get the spa hooked up.
Exactly.
So now you just brought them a customer.
Exactly.
Right. I want this. I'm serious. If they want it, I want the spa hooked up. I'll be there October, and I want the spa hooked up.
Right. Right. People are gonna hang out for a weekend. They're gonna do spas, go to steak dinners. You guys are gonna court new customers.
Yeah.
We're gonna invite our donut friends and talk about donuts in the morning of Phoenix Fashion Week.
Okay.
All those things are all stacked on top of each other. But it's talking to everyone with that invisible fence, that lighthouse effect, that beacon where people want to be around like-minded individuals that are growing on this kind of growth pattern. And how can I align it? Everyone that's at Phoenix Fashion Week is somebody I want to align my brand with on whatever level, to dress me differently, to take me to the spa, give me the massage, invest in my brand, etc. All those things are gonna be happening over a weekend.
That's an offer you can lace that up, you can, package that in a way it's irresistible. Because I was just talking to someone the other day, and I was like, hey, if you're cutting hair, whatever it may be, and you're meeting somebody, give them an offer. Hey, look, first cut on me.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna get a haircut.
Right.
This guy, he cut Chris Paul hair, all the different, Devin Booker, all these different folks. So it's like he has that celebrity barber packaging. And so I'm like, just make people an offer.
Right.
And if you don't give them the first cut, say, hey, second cut.
Right.
Look, first cut, second cut on me.
Right.
So now you create this opportunity to get those new customers. And I'm thinking about the packaging of the spot. Hey, if I get the VIP ticket, let's have something reserved for, hey, look, you can get for this price, you can get the spa and this, because now I'm hooked. Now, if I get it, I got to come back as long as you give me the right experience. And that's how you can acquire new customers.
Right. We overlook this. Let's talk about quality first. So if you really believe in the quality of your design, your filming, your editing, right, your advertising and marketing, you can give it to them for free because they're going to come back. Is that good?
That's right.
Imagine that. I'm down with that.
It's the $0 off.
Yeah, everyone can't do it, and then they should probably check themselves and say, am I making something of high quality? Right? High quality first, because if it is of high quality and you're going to be consistent, they're going to come back.
What do you got to lose?
If you can afford that.
Yeah, in 30 days, 30-day trial offer, $0, 30 days.
Right.
After that, look, you got, I'm going to give you 20 offers. I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z, and you can run with it.
Right. It's
or
true.
we can continue the relationship if you want me to continue to execute.
People that go to fashion right now have been with us for years, maybe 8-9 years, and they pay for their tickets now. In the beginning, the offer was free. I'm sure I had a quarterback from ASU walk into my show free. Now that same quarterback not only can afford it, but happily buys his VIP front row seat at a price now. Think about that. So the offer goes from free in the beginning, and then it evolved because I was consistently giving him what he wanted, putting him in the right space around the right people, dressing him the right way. That's real. If you don't have something that's going to bring that quarterback back from number 2 or 3, yes, you might have lost that, but you also learned something. And will you learn and turn the corner and make a better quality item for the next time around? That's the truth.
That's the truth. And we'll see you there. So it's October. What's the date?
October 11th, 2025. Right? We're at Wild Horse Pass, Gila River Resorts and Casino. All day, hang out. Follow us at PHXFW on Instagram and also PhoenixFashionWeek.com.
Okay, so October 11th. At what time?
Yeah. Get there at 4.
Get there at 4. So
Stay till you fall asleep.
there you go.
At the casino.
There you go.
Right.
Awesome.
You guys doing the after party? You guys are sponsoring.
Yeah, we're going to do that for sure.
Inflect.
Yeah, we got it. So we're looking forward to that. We're excited. So one thing I do want to ask before we wrap is, you always have these unspoken rules, right? So when we think about fashion, there's one unspoken rule that you want to dismantle. What would it be?
Right. Dress like nobody's watching except for you.
There you go. That's right. Don't care what other people think.
Nope. Just for you.
Here. Okay. Love it.
I think that's the one-liner bar where it's like, that's a piece right there. You got it. That's for you.
Yeah, that's the statement. And so when we think about, Phoenix Fashion Week, you started, director, etc. You've been doing this for how long?
Oh man, so 10 years. I started from the bottom.
From the bottom. So 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. And I was a volunteer, like all of our teammates started.
Okay.
Right? An ambassador of the brand, and people move up. Mop the floors myself, vacuum, talk to brands, made 55 million mistakes along the way, all that stuff. Course corrected, got better, and attracted people with the invisible fence, another beacon of someone that wanted to become a better fashion business professional.
So 10 years. So hear this out now. 10 years.
Yeah. -2 for COVID, but you have to say it.
Right. -2 for COVID. So let's talk about the scale, like where you were when you first came to Phoenix Fashion Week.
Sure.
And like where you're at now. I mean, the scale of that, like, I mean, it doesn't look like you missing any meals.
Man, I'm sorry with just being blessed, first of all. 62 people came to the first Fashion Week. I remember it to this day. I have the picture on my wall. You guys have seen it, that black and white photo, 62 people. And everyone said, we're done. We're done. I said, no. Because these 62 people didn't know us last week. And they decided to come here and put their valuable time on our brand. And 62 can become 620, and it did. It can become 6,000, and it has. So we just kept getting better and better and better. And even with the COVID, I love it because we rewired and got better. We got better. But if we would have quit, we would have known how much better we could have been. That's the thing. People either run out of money or time or drive, but they probably never had in the beginning.
See, so there you go. So there's money to be made in the fashion industry. You said it started with 62 people. Now it's 5, 6, 7,000. Okay, and the price, check the price of the tickets, sponsorships. There's money to be made, 6, 7 figures, whatever the case may be. We ain't gonna get specific, but there's money to be made if you don't give up.
Do the math. Now, I'm going to ask you this because you mentioned resilience.
Yes.
We always say, like, this is one thing that I always like to say is that business or any sort of commercial venture, right? Business is not a boxing match. It's a street fight. It's for the last person standing, right? I want you to think about, there's a fashion brand out there. There's an entrepreneur who's passionate about designs, just trying to get his fashion brand off the ground, right? He's looking at this, is trying to see if this is a future for him or her, right? They're trying to see if this is a future for them. What's one piece of advice you give them?
Follow up and follow through. Follow up and follow through. That's it. So there's 5 of us here today, right? And I'm going to talk to everyone, and I'm going to follow and follow through. I'm going to make sure you got the pictures you need for what you need. I'm going to talk to you more about your research work at U of A. I'm going to talk to you about the donut company you're running and about your editing company, right? And I'm going to invite them to Fashion Week. That's it. They may not come, but he's going to talk about one fashion friend that he has from high school that wants to come to Phoenix Fashion Week. And I'm going to win on that alone by following up and following through. And you leave a talk like this, no one's going to be upset with you if you never talk to him again. Because we all did our job. We had an amazing speech today and a talk. But following up and following through with 5 people around you that can become 10, it costs you 0.
I love it, man. Yeah. That's a wonderful note to end on. I mean, I'll say this to that point of following up and following through. You just reminded me of this story. We was in LA at this social impact event, and it was a high level guy from the USB, bank or whatnot, and it was so powerful because I was talking to him. We're having this conversation, networking. He had his computer up. He's working, like I said, that hard work, working hard. But then he also closed the computer and he gave me his full attention. We're talking. Yep. He's like, so what do you do? And I'm telling him what I do. I'm learning about what he do. He's on the private equity side of things over there. And then he goes, he pulls his computer back over, put it back up. And he's get my name and everything. I'm like, okay, so we talk. I'm like, man, this guy, he was sharp. I'm like, so right before we left, I said, don't forget to send me the email. Right. You know what his response was?
I already sent it.
Already sent it.
I knew it.
I was like, oh man, this guy cold, man. You talking about following up and following through. You gotta be on it.
And I want to just sum up on that. I think the main takeaway you're going to take from this is that everything that Brian mentioned is that no matter what type of business, what type of work you're involved in, the principles are the same.
Yeah.
That aspect of how quick that person followed up with Lionell, you got to put that in your mind, because to be an elite performer, that's the level of sharp commitment you have to have.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's 100% true. And it cost him 0 to do that.
That's right.
But now he's on this podcast.
Yes, he is. And he gave me some introductions. I gave him some introductions. It was, so, right. I mean, it was really high level.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to talk some more about that. I know we got a wrap, so I'm going to put that in the exclusive behind the scenes content.
I keep hearing about the exclusive behind the scenes. Where is behind the scenes? Where?
But to do this right now. All right. Thank you all for joining us again for Culture X Commerce. It's been a wonderful time we had with the great Brian Hill. So we appreciate you all for tapping in, showing up, keep following through to the moon. Let's go.
And buy tickets for October 11th.
October 11th. Follow us at PHX Fashion Week on Instagram. Thank you guys for the time. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Anuroop, be the man. Thank you.